Hello, darlings. You're welcome to Z-Star Africa, your home of sizzling drama recaps. Let's dive deep into the emotional twists, shocking secrets, confrontations, and jaw-dropping moments in Soulmate upcoming episodes. A story that will literally keep you on the edge of your seats. From Roshni's shocking pregnancy chaos, to the big, fiery fight between Rashny and Tejas, to Renuka's suspicions and explosive accusations, to Sayali exposing Roshni's lies to the family. Every moment is packed with suspense, heartbreak, and drama you won't want to miss. Please like and turn on your notifications for more of your favorites. It only gets more interesting. Let's dive in. It all begins with Roshni visiting a gynecologist, worried and restless because she hasn't conceived even after a year of marriage. Shikha warns her that getting pregnant could expose secrets from her past to Tejas, but despite the risk, Roshni goes ahead with the appointment. Meanwhile at home, Suchin shares a heartfelt Father's Day moment with Paresh as they exchange gifts. The simple celebration brings out emotions Suchin has kept hidden for years. He opens up about growing up without a mother's love and how every ounce of strength, courage, and guidance he has today came from Paresh alone. For the first time, he admits that Paresh has always been the one who stood by him. Encouraged by the emotion of the moment, Suchin reveals his desire to become a father. He wants to adopt little Krish, knowing how lonely and parentless the boy's life has been. But Paresh gently reminds him that fatherhood is not an emotional impulse, it's a lifelong responsibility. Suchin must ask himself if he is truly ready, and Sayali must be ready as well. Raising a child requires commitment and stability from both parents. Back at the clinic, Juhi and Sayali arrive too, Juhi for a job interview as an accountant. When Sayali receives a sudden business call, she leaves Juhi in the waiting area and rushes out. Moments later, Juhi spots Roshni inside the doctor's chamber, something that immediately raises her suspicion. Soon after, Juhi gets the job and excitedly calls Sayali, sharing the good news and also mentioning that she saw Roshni at the clinic. Sayali quickly jumps to a conclusion. Roshni must be pregnant. Back home, Sayali prepares sweets to celebrate. With a bright smile, she announces her happy news that Roshni is expecting, only for Roshni to immediately shut it down. She firmly denies it, leaving everyone stunned and disappointed. Sayali explains that she saw Roshni at a maternity hospital and assumed it was true, but the family scold her for jumping to conclusions. Renuka is especially harsh, accusing Sayali of being educated yet lacking simple sense. Hurt and embarrassed, Sayali listens as Roshni angrily tells her to stay out of her private life. Inside their room, tensions explode between Roshni and Tejas. Worried about their struggle to conceive, Roshni suggests Tejas get a fertility test. Tejas feels insulted and reacts with anger. When Roshni questions whether he's truly confident about himself, he snaps back with a cruel question, asking if she has ever been pregnant before. Shocked and furious, Roshni throws him out of the room. Sayali, meanwhile, feels terrible for causing the misunderstanding. Suchin gently comforts her, helping her smile again. Tejas later vents to Renuka, claiming Roshni insulted him by dragging his past with Isha into the argument. Renuka questions why Roshni keeps bringing up Tejas's past. Suddenly, it strikes her. They never bothered to ask about Roshni's past before marriage either. The same thought unsettles Tejas, making both of them uncomfortable. On the rooftop, Sayali sets up a plastic sheet to protect from the rain. Suchin joins her, and the two share a warm, romantic moment under the open sky that lifts her mood. Back inside, Renuka tries to mediate between Roshni and Tejas. But Roshni's harsh words sting her too, as if she's being blamed for how Tejas was raised. Still, Renuka begs her to put the fight aside and think about their future. As the night settles, Suchin and Sayali come downstairs with their bedding. Sayali tries once more to apologize to Roshni, but Roshni, still irritated and hurt by the earlier confusion, refuses to forgive her just yet. Despite the cold reaction, Siyali feels lighter in her heart after apologizing. The next morning, she and Suchin wake up to a flooded dining hall. Heavy rainwater has entered the house again. Siyali immediately begins mopping the floor, but Renuka only grows irritated and orders them to clean everything properly. Meanwhile, Riya finds the whole situation entertaining. She records videos on her phone, planning to upload them for fun. She even splashes water on others, which pushes Roshni beyond her limit, making her snap angrily at Riya. As the chaos continues, Renuka steps into the dining area looking for tea or coffee. But she slips on the wet floor, and Paresh quickly grabs her, saving her from a dangerous fall. Suchin, tired of dealing with waterlogging night after night and not having a proper room or bed, begs the family to take the issue seriously. But everyone ignores him, so he decides to solve it himself. Meanwhile, Tejas, following an astrologer's advice, wears a bright red shirt at night to avoid upcoming problems. Roshni and Renuka roll their eyes, irritated that an educated man is behaving so superstitiously. Later, just before dinner, Suchin returns home carrying a wooden bed he bought with his own money. He plans to place it in the dining hall so he and Siyali can finally sleep comfortably. But Roshni, Renuka, and Tejas object immediately, saying it will block the space. Suchin calmly explains that there will still be enough room even with the bed. Paresh steps in and supports him, agreeing that Suchin is simply trying to fix a real problem. Riya and Akash also cheer happily, excited to see Suchin and Siyali finally getting a proper bed. Siyali glows with happiness. She and Suchin finally have a bed of their own, and for the first time, they feel like they're building something real together. Siyali feels a little guilty for not being there when Suchin bought it, but they celebrate their small victory with joy and hope. The next morning, Siyali goes to the market to sell her flower garlands. There, she suddenly spots Sultan. Startled, he quickly hides inside an auto and rushes away. Shaken, Sultan heads straight to Tejas's showroom to meet Roshni. Nervous and restless, he tells her that Siyali saw him in the market and even ran after him. Roshni and Shikha panic. If Siyali starts doubting Sultan, their secret could come crashing down. Just then, Siyali arrives at the showroom to deliver flowers. Roshni freezes in fear, desperately trying to push her out before she notices anything. Sultan hides himself as Siyali mentions seeing him in the market, but Roshni ignores her completely. Tejas and Suchin arrive at the same time, adding to Roshni's tension. Terrified that the truth will come out, she forces Sultan to hide inside a refrigerator. Meanwhile, Suchin has brought his friend along to buy a fridge. They begin checking them one by one, and Roshni nearly loses her mind. If Suchin opens the wrong one, Sultan will be exposed. Tejas shows different options, and to Roshni's horror, Suchin's friend picks the exact refrigerator where Sultan is hiding. Thinking fast, Roshni pulls Suchin aside and claims that she already sold that fridge to Shikha. Frustrated, Suchin asks Tejas to show another model. Not getting what he wants, he storms off with his friend. Once everyone leaves, Roshni rushes to open the fridge and pull Sultan out. He is shaken and disappointed. He now understands that Roshni is hiding something serious from her family. She tries to explain, but Sultan has lost his trust. Even so, he promises he won't reveal anything for now. Later, Siyali tells Suchin she saw Roshni's uncle in the market, even though Roshni had always claimed he lived in Dubai. This unexpected sighting raises doubts, and Roshni overhears their conversation, realizing her secret might be exposed sooner than she hoped. The next morning, Riya and Akash join the family for tea. To cover her tracks, Roshni calls her uncle, arranging a video call. Sultan appears dressed smartly, pretending to be in Dubai on business. The plan is to convince everyone that he really is abroad. But instead, seeing Sultan only makes Siyali and Suchin more suspicious. Suchin grabs the phone and starts questioning Sultan about Dubai, asking for specific details. Sultan grows nervous, dodges the questions, and finally cuts the call short, leaving everyone even more confused. Meanwhile, Roshni, with Shika and Sultan's help, successfully manipulates the family once again. She thanks Sultan for stepping in on short notice, but he warns her that the longer the charade continues, the worse the consequences could be. Worried but determined, Roshni decides that getting pregnant might secure Tejas's acceptance of her as his wife, believing a child will cement her place in his life. Elsewhere, Suchin is at the market when a passenger leaves a bag behind in his car. As he tries to return it, he sees Chitta harassing the man for money. Suchin records the incident and confronts Chitta and Dilip, warning them to change their ways or face serious consequences. He gives Dilip a final warning to distance himself from Chitta and his criminal activities. Later, when Suchin returns home, Dilip behaves rudely, refusing to attend the family's planned birthday celebration. He makes it clear he doesn't want to be around Suchin, showing the tension between them is far from over. Confused, Sayali doesn't know what to do. Riya notices her dilemma and encourages her to attend the party anyway, arguing that Suchin can't stop her. This only leaves Sayali more puzzled. Renuka overhears the conversation and quietly enjoys watching Sayali's inner conflict. The next morning, Suchin notices Sayali is missing and jumps to the conclusion that she went to Dilip's party, ignoring his advice. Shocked and hurt, he leaves the house angrily to check the truth. Meanwhile, Sayali really is at the party but plans to return home quickly. Just then, Suchin unexpectedly arrives at the house and sees her there, but says nothing, leaving Sayali even more unsettled. That night, Suchin returns home drunk, upset by Sayali attending the party of a brother who doesn't respect either of them. Sayali confronts him, frustrated that he never explained the situation. She feels torn between her own family and her in-laws. Emotional and anxious, she tries to understand Suchin's rigidity. In his inebriated state, Suchin opens up, sharing his pain and heartbreak before going to sleep. Renuka, secretly enjoying Sayali's discomfort, teases her about the situation. The following morning, Suchin meets a passenger facing similar family troubles and criticizes his wife for frequently visiting her maternal home, reflecting on his own struggles. Meanwhile, Sayali talks to her friends, who advise her to confront Suchin directly and discuss their issues face-to-face. At dinner, Suchin and Sayali are still at odds, for Sayali attending Dilip's birthday without his permission. Sayali serves him curry chicken, but Suchin angrily eats the pre-cooked khichdi instead, which has lost its taste. Sayali grows irritated with his overpossessive behavior. Renuka comes to fill the water bottle, and both pretend as if nothing has happened. Wanting to avoid further conflict, Sayali quietly goes to bed. The next morning, tension lingers. Suchin and Sayali prepare their meals separately. Riya and Akash notice the strain and suggest that Sayali try to resolve things with Suchin, since the couple doesn't look good while fighting. Sayali hopes giving Suchin some time will ease the situation, while Riya and Akash quietly plan to help them reconcile. Meanwhile, Tejas follows the astrologer's advice and wears a green t-shirt before heading to the showroom, prompting Suchin to tease him. Riya and Akash share exciting news. They've won passes to a business fair and can take another couple with them. Tejas and Roshni immediately grab one opportunity, but Riya and Akash insist Suchin and Sayali join as the second couple. Suchin and Sayali are overjoyed and grateful for this chance. Renuka warns Riya and Akash about Suchin and Sayali's lack of refinement, but Sayali promises they will behave well and join the program. The next morning, Suchin begins learning basic English to prepare for the posh event. Seeing his enthusiasm, Sayali is thrilled, and the tension between them begins to ease. That's a wrap, fams. See you in the next. Much love.